You want to move to Germany but don't have a job offer yet and want to know your options? I'll show you how you can move here with the Opportunity Card visa, what the requirements are, as well as some important concerns that you should definitely know about. In the end of this video, I'll also share a very convenient link for you where you can check by yourself if you meet the requirements, so definitely stick around until the end. Let's start with the big question. What exactly is the Opportunity Card? Or, as it is called in German, the Chancenkarte. The Opportunity Card was introduced to make it easier for skilled workers to come to Germany. It's Germany's way of saying, hey, we know you're qualified. Come check things out in person. Take your time, meet some people, and find the right job while you're already here. Now, qualified is a very broad term. It can be anything from being a qualified electrician to a car mechanic to someone trained in hospitality, logistics, or even nursing. So, how does it work? Well, once you get the card, you're allowed to move to Germany and stay for up to 12 months while you search for full-time employment. So you'll have an entire year to figure out your next steps. And the best part, you're allowed to work part-time while you search, up to 20 hours per week, which is actually great because, let's be honest, living in Germany isn't exactly free. So what are the requirements? There are two ways to qualify for the Opportunity Card. One is if Germany recognizes you as a skilled worker. This is the case if you have a German degree or vocational qualification. If you obtained your qualification in Germany, you don't need to do anything. But if your qualification is from outside of Germany, you have to get it recognized. For a vocational training or qualifications in regulated professions, you need to go through the recognition procedure. Regulated professions would be something like doctors and so on, so where you actually can cause a lot of damage, basically. I've put the link to the recognition in the video description. If you have a foreign academic degree, you need to check in the NABIN database if it is rated positive. Otherwise, you could also get a statement of comparability in the ZAB, which is the Central Office of Foreign Education. Links to both are also in the video description. If your qualification, on the other hand, is only partly recognized, then you need to go through the point system, which is pretty unique. This basically means they don't have a strict list of all of the requirements you have to meet. Instead, there are some minimum requirements you have to meet. First of all, you must have a higher education qualification or a completed vocational qualification that lasted at least 2 years. Next, you also need to have some language ability. But here's the cool part, you don't actually need German fluency to get started. You only need A1 level German or B2 level English. A1 German means you can introduce yourself and order a sandwich, basically. If you don't have any German skills, you need B2 English. That's basically fluent in normal conversations, the ability to follow lectures or confidently argue with your friends about whether pineapple belongs on pizza, which it doesn't, just to make sure. So if you've already studied or worked in English, you're probably good to go. And let's be honest, this channel is in English, so you probably already have some English skills. In addition, you must get at least 6 points in the point system. And you will get points for your age, language skills, work experience, previous days in Germany, as well as whether your partner meets the qualifications. We're gonna get into how many points you get exactly in just a minute. Important to know is that you don't need to meet all of these requirements. So if you don't get points in one category, you can balance it out by being stronger in another category. First up is your education and work experience. If your qualification is partly equivalent, you'll get 4 points. You will still get the 4 points if you are doing a regulated profession and still have to do the measures before you get your license to practice your profession. If you have at least 5 years of work experience during the 7 years after your graduation or acquisition of your vocational qualification, you'll get 3 points. If you have at least 2 years of work experience during the 5 years after your graduation or after you got a vocational qualification, you will get 2 points. And in addition, you will get 1 additional point if your qualification is in a bottleneck profession. This means Germany lacks these kind of people and they want to have more of them, so they will give them an additional point to make it more likely that they will come. Bottleneck professions include jobs like civil, mechanical, electrical engineers, physicists, software developments, but also jobs like nursing professionals. To make life easier for you, I have linked you a complete list of bottleneck professions in the video description. Important here is that your maximum of points is not 4, but actually you can already pass the 6-point threshold here within only the category that I gave to you. So by having a qualification that is partially equivalent, you already get 4 points. And if you have worked for at least 2 years during the 5 years after your graduation in that field, you already have 6 points because you get 2 additional from that one. Then you can get additional points for your language skills. If you have C1 English, you will get 1 point. At a A2 level, you'll get 1 point. If your German skills are at a B1 level, you'll get 2 points. And if your German is at a B2 level, you'll get 3 points. So you can see by speaking C1 English and B2 German, you can already get 4 points. Speaking German can therefore really help you to get into Germany. But of course, it will also help you immensely once you're here, because most of the daily life is in Germany, and you will have more opportunities when it comes to studying or working when you speak German. My friend Max created an affordable German course, which you can take at completely your own pace, that more than 1,200 people already trusted. You can check out this course by clicking on the link in the video description. Up next is your age, because Germany prefers younger people to come to Germany. If you're at least 18 years old, up to including 34 years old, you will get 2 points. If you're 35 years old, up to including 39 years old, you'll get 1 point. If you're older than that, you will not get a point, but of course that doesn't mean you cannot get in, since you can earn the required 6 points in other fields as well. What I found very interesting is that even by speaking English at C1, German at B2, and being younger than 35, you already got the required 6 points and can apply for the opportunity card. You can also get 1 additional point if you have been to Germany for 6 months in the last 5 years. What is important here is that it has to be 6 continuous months. This includes periods such as au pair stays, language courses, exchange studies, work stays, research stays, internships. So stays for tourism do not count. And it has to be 6 months in one piece. So you cannot just go there for 2 months and then a year later and for another, it wouldn't work. 1 additional point is possible if you are legally married and your spouse meets the requirements for the opportunity card. So for example, if your wife has the 6 points, you'll get an additional point so that you can come to Germany together, even if you yourself would only have 5 points. Before I share the link to the website where you can easily check if you meet the requirements and how many points you would get, I want to mention some concerns that some people have around this topic, because I want to be transparent with you. The first obstacle that you would still need to tackle is you still need to prove you can support yourself while you're in Germany. That usually means having a blocked account with 13,092 euros, or getting someone in Germany to sign a declaration of commitment, which means they will basically pay for you if you cannot support yourself financially. Another point to keep in mind is that this is not a guarantee to get a job. I do believe that it is possible for almost anyone to find a job if they really try. But it could happen that you come to Germany, burn a lot of money, and then have to go back after a year without having found a job. I will say honestly, it is probably easier to find a job if you are already in Germany. Still, because you can network with other people, you can already work part-time and therefore show employers that you can work in Germany, that you are actually in Germany, and that you have already some work experience here. Still, it is no guarantee. Also, in the beginning, it's a bit difficult because you have to find a place, like a place to live, rent something, but you don't have a job yet. So it's harder to find something where a landlord will take you who doesn't have a job yet. Then, in addition, you of course have to find friends. You have to look for a job. You'll burn a lot of money and you might be homesick. You left your home, you left all of your friends. You're in a new environment, not just a new environment, but in a completely new country. And it's a bit tough because you will have to send a lot of applications and you will have to face a lot of rejection. Then in addition, what you have to be aware of is that for most jobs you will need to speak German. And still, even for English jobs, obviously, if somebody is able to speak German and English, they will be the preferred people to get hired. Because after all, you're still in Germany, you're working in a German market, so you have to be aware of that. Then regarding the applications, you will be rejected many times over and over again. That's unfortunately how the German job market works. They really hire very slow here because German laws protect employees very, very well. And that also means it's not easy to fire people. So, for example, in contrast to the US, where it can easily be fired, in Germany that's not the case. So you have some kind of job security. And that's why companies are very careful and very slow with hiring. So some advice would be, first of all, if you find any kind of job, take it, because you'll make connections. And even if it's just cleaning an office, because you might be talking to the manager of that office and maybe you'll get a job there. Literally take any job that you can. After all, you're allowed to work part-time, so really take advantage of this to make connections. And think about it, this is the only reason why you would want to be in Germany. If you don't want to make connections and don't want to get job via connections, you can still just stay in your country and apply from there and then only move to Germany once you have the security of having a job. And let's say you want to take the risk and come to Germany because after all, it is easier to find a job in person. You can go to job fairs and so on. If you take that risk and if you don't speak German yet, I would advise you to directly go to a German class and take your language classes seriously. First of all, you'll meet other people. Second of all, you'll learn the German language, which helps you then to find a job. Typical courses and more affordable courses are found at the so-called Volkshochschule. This is a very typical thing where everybody can go for all kinds of courses, and I would recommend them very much. Even better is, of course, if you already know some German before you arrive. However, if you want to come to Germany and then find a job here, I think this is a great option. I would love your input. I'm building something to help people exactly like you. I'm partnering with a German recruiter from the IT industry and a former recruiter from the engineering industry. We want to find out how we can help you the most. So click the link, answer a short survey. It's like 4 or 5 opt-in questions, and you can get early access when it's ready. Now, to find out exactly how many points you have, you can do the self-check for the Chancenkarte or the opportunity card, which will guide you through all of the questions. The link is in the video description. I'm rooting for you. Keep growing. And there's a video.